Sue Ann says that Nico's father's boss put them in touch with a dear friend of mine, James McGibney, who helps sextortion victims. And we're going to talk to him right after the break.
Representative Brandon Guffey learned scammers targeted his son. Guffey fought back, championing Gavin's Law in South Carolina.
This is not just a problem in South Carolina. This is not just a problem in the United States. This is a problem globally.
Well, James McGibney is here. He helped Nico out of his jam, but that's not the only thing he's been doing. James takes on over about 150 cases just like his every month. Every month. And that's probably a conservative estimate. James does all this for free, by the way, and I'd like to hear his advice on how to avoid this scam and what to do if you find yourself being blackmailed online. Now, this is probably one of the most underreported scams going on right now because people are ashamed about it.
That's right. It takes a tremendous amount of courage to come on stage and tell America this. A lot of parents are ashamed to do so, and they don't want to get out there. And in a lot of instances, the kids don't tell the parents at all. They just pay and hope that it'll go away, but it never does.
Yeah, and it's not something that you need to be ashamed of. It's not something you need to feel dumb about. It's just you got caught in the web, and we're just trying to give people a heads up so they don't get caught in the web. But when they do, what should they do? What's the best thing to do internet-wise, security-wise, prosecution-wise, everything?
So step one, always go to law enforcement. You always want to do that to get that ball rolling so they can start the process of issuing subpoenas and trying to find out who's behind these accounts. The next piece of advice is just what we have dealt with at Bullyville that has worked time and time again. Stop communicating with that person immediately. It's not a girl, for starters. It's 9 out of 10 times a middle-aged 45-year-old guy who has no empathy or to care less about your child. Stop communicating and deny. You're going to release the picture? Fine, go ahead. With the advent of AI being on the internet, it's not me, it's someone else. That's my face on that body. You turn the tables on them.
Yeah, seriously. Let's take a look at an AI image versus a real image here. These deep fakes and all are so good. And so you can take a look at this. One of these is a fake image and one of them is real. This stuff is getting so good, these deep fakes and all. Can you tell which one is fake and which one is real?
I can because it's my wife. My beautiful wife.
It's difficult to tell. Which one do you think is real? How many think the one on the left is real? How many of you think the one on the right is real? Raise your hand. Which one's real, James?
The one on the left.
The one on the left is real. Okay. And seriously, your best approach when they tell you this is say, hey, send it out. I wish I looked like that.
That's right.
Send it out. Let me give you a list.
That's right.
And they're going to say, this guy's no fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and these stories it's a gauntlet of emotion as you listen to these stories, because I'm sure like everyone else in the audience, our hearts bleed for all of you, of course. But my mind after that goes to the revenge factor. I want to know who's doing this. You know, the FBI can only do so much. They do a great job, but if you're going to think you're going to identify an IP in the Philippines and extradite someone back, it's not going to happen. So that's really where I come in and locate these people. And, you know, sometimes you have to be a bully to beat a bully. And I bully these guys to the point of no return, you know, where they think twice about even getting on a keyboard ever again.
Yeah. And there have been a few of these identified from time to time with some help. And the image may be real, it may be fake, it may be half and half. You don't know.
Dr. Phil, one important thing is local law enforcement has an older mindset when dealing with this a lot of times. And it starts off with just don't send the pictures as if that's the solution. We've got to realize that our teens are growing up in a different generation. That causes teens not wanting to come forward.
Right.
And also, Dr. Phil, too, to add on to what Brandon is saying, when we, as law enforcement officers, tell our kids that, it creates an additional isolation. So you look at the different signs of suicide, and one of them is isolation. Not only are they providing the isolation beyond their social group, their family, but then law enforcement officers, because they are threatening that they'll send this image to the law enforcement officers. They are saying that they will be labeled a pedophile. They are creating that distance between them actually reporting something to law enforcement officers.
We'll be right back.